Question: how can Catholics, Protestants, Presbyterians, Reformationists, Seventh-day Adventists, so-called non-denominationalists, Messianic groups, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, etc., Christians, use essentially the same document but teach different doctrines? Answer: each individual church denomination, group, sect, order, etc. teaches their followers to practice their own particular church's traditions. Not a single one of them teaches biblical understanding. This fact is prophesied in the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 9, quote, "But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men," end quote. And each congregation has their own particular version of Yahushua, called Jesus. The various apparitions of the Messiah in the modern age was also prophesied in many places. One particular is in Matthew chapter 24, verse 5. Reads, quote, and I'm paraphrasing, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Catholic, Protestant, Presbyterian, Reformationist, etc., and shall deceive many." End quote. So why don't Christians understand the Bible? Answer: because the church can't afford it. Understanding is bad for business. An example of this particular business model can be seen in Eve's conversation with the serpent in Genesis chapter 3. One example of churches keeping Christians ignorant, also known as lying to you, involves the book of Revelation. Churches teach that the Christian community is absent from the book of Revelation after the 3rd chapter. Keep in mind that the faithful will not experience the wrath of God. Also know that the Great Tribulation and the wrath of God are two distinct events. The wrath of God is poured out on the earth after the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of the Gentiles, and the shortened time referred to as the abomination of desolation. These three time periods together are referred to in the Bible as the time, times, and half a time. More plainly, this time period is the last 2,000 years of recorded history that each church's tradition blinds Christians to. If you've read the Revelation, or if you're taking my word for it, you'll be aware that in chapters 2 and 3, the communities in Thyatira, Sardis, and Laodicea are told that if they didn't change their ways, they would experience the Great Tribulation, which, again, is distinct from the wrath of God. Only Philadelphia is told that they would be kept from that time. In the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verses 3 through 26, Yahushua gives an overview of the Great Tribulation. Notice in the passage that he's speaking to you, who will experience that time. He also tells you multiple times to watch out for a Catholic Messiah, a Protestant Messiah, a non-denominational Messiah, etc., etc. In the Revelation, there's a group Christians refer to as the Tribulation Saints. Because it's so obvious, it's almost stupid to ask, who are they? Answer: who else would they be? The communities who are told to repent or else. Thyatira, Sardis, and Laodicea. Christians seem to have this very childlike perspective of Christianity. If you believe, you're saved, your life is easy. That makes sense if you're 5 years old. If you're an adult, that's ignorant. So, in the book of Revelation, where do you see these communities? Sardis is in Revelation chapter 11, verse 13. Laodicea is in Revelation chapter 13, verses 8 through 10. And Thyatira is in Revelation chapter 14, verses 12 through 13. Just before the so-called Rapture event takes place in Revelation 14, verses 14 through 16. That's a brief heads up on something you should know if you read the Bible. I will continue this later with more things you ought to know.